Millions of people around the world don their best green attire every March 17th to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But there is a lot we bet you didn't know about Ireland's patron saint. To start with, St. Patrick wasn't even Irish. He was born around the 5th century in Britain, then part of the Roman Empire. We bet you didn't know the tradition of celebrating March 17th with parades actually started in America.
Going into the parade tomorrow?
I wouldn't be, you know what, I'll stay in the back garden with me dog. I think it's the greatest load of punts and wants. All the Americans are over here. Oh my God, I love this, I love Ireland. They doing my I'm telling you, I hate it.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is another episode of Dissolving the Divide. I'm Leslie Powers. I'm here with my co-host Derek Bartolocelli. Hey, Derek, take it away.
Leslie, hey, how's it going? And we can almost consider Rodney a co-host as well at this point. You know, it's fourth time around, brother. And
I know, right?
We got him back. Yeah, we like having you here, Rodney. Welcome.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just glad to be here, man. Been busy, but
cooking at the bistro. Yeah,
it's good to feel tired. Actually, I like that feeling of working hard and then feeling that kind of tiredness on, and then you come in. Now you're talking about esoteric stuff. Now it's kind of re-energizing you. You know, it's kind of like there. So I do like that feeling.
Awesome. Well, we want to hear your insights and wisdom here.
Yeah, it's going to be, it ought to be interesting because honestly, I haven't really prepared for this, but we'll just let it roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're pretty automatic, systematic, and the things we're going to cover, you're pretty well knowledgeable about as well. You know, so
yeah, sure.
Folks listening, we're going to lay it down on the line as far as, you know, coming up to the equinox, and this weekend is St. Patrick's Day, and how there's been inversions and perversions of the whole history behind that and that character and all that jazz. But to start, in recent times, you and I had a great reading of my astrological chart.
That was good. Yeah,
fascinating. If folks want to check that out, it's on my channel. And I highly recommend Rodney for, you know, a plethora of services that he provides. So what's been new as far as your observations? Not necessarily just, you know, like the astrological, but speaking with Logan Hart recently, and
there's been a lot of consternation. A lot of people tapping into that. You know, I guess for lack of a better word, the antagonistic core of things. There's been a lot of antagonism and a lot of Mars energy, it seems like, lately. And we did have that square with Mars and Uranus that's been going on. That's really been causing a lot of tension because that Mars energy is sitting there and it's antagonizing with that, you know, with that freedom, with that Uranus energy, that ignition, right? That lightning strike. And so when you're dealing with the Uranus energy, you know, it's all about, you know, breaking open the layers, seeing them dissolve, seeing them, breaking through them veils, breaking through all that crap, and then getting to the root, to the ignition of things, you know, and then taking that to the Neptune energy, which is where the healing takes place. But when you're looking at that Uranus energy, it's squaring off with Mars. Well, Mars is naturally, you know, has that, you know, very powerful, almost, you know, anger energy right now. And so when you're looking at it like that, you're seeing how that's affecting everybody around you. I mean, literally road rage, people just losing their shit over really stupid shit that doesn't matter at all. I went through a major test, man, the last couple of days with this, you know, and so it's been intense. And how you got to do that is, you got to work through that is that you got to learn how to observe and pull back. Mm-hmm. You can't just go with the fire of the head when it comes. You know, you can't let that take you. You got to have enough awareness to realize what's trying to take you. you know, and then be able to actually pull back from that and not allow that, you know, come back, find your center, and then be able to actually make a logical, sensible, reasonable decision about how you're going to confront someone, or how you're going to work through the situation, or how you're going to mediate it. There's all different ways, levels to look at it. Look at it from a multidimensional point of view. Don't just get caught in one point of view of something, you know, and that's a tendency with that Aries energy to do that when you're talking Mars, you know. And so when Mars is in, you know, in those antagonistic spaces with the outer planets, then we're looking at a collective, you know, basically a collective, you know, effect that, you know, that has not only moral implications, but also implications of, you know, doing things and then going, oh, why did I do that? Oh, what the hell was I thinking? You know, all of these cliches that come up with, you know, with the bullshit, you know.
Heat of the moment type of stuff.
That's what we're dealing with. And then, of course, on top of that, then we've got that that North Node Chiron conjunction, you know, which is really dealing with the betrayal and the wound of betrayal and the militancy of that, you know. And I know that Passio's been kind of hitting on this inverted feminine stuff, you know, and that really ignites that too, in context to that, having that type of overtone with the feminine of being militant, you know, being combative, you know, not having that softness that the feminine's supposed to have, but, you know, trying to, you know, bring it into more of a masculine type of energy with the feminine, where it tries to drive the narrative to, you know, to that inverted feminine bullshit. So it's that militant aspect masking the wound, you know. You know, and that's what we're dealing with as well, you know, when it comes to that Aries, you know, conjunction with that North Node, man.
Yeah, it's like
With
the militant
Chiron, excuse me.
The militant parts that are jumping in to protect the wounded interior, right?
Yes.
And it helps from, you know, to have the perspective. When you're talking about perspective, I think kind of following what's going on astrologically and like just getting this information is good to know about when you're starting to have certain moods, right, rise up. Like if I'm getting impatient and then I realize, the Mars energy, you know, then I'm going to be have a better perspective about what's going on with me.
Yeah, because you can then go to your chart if you have some understanding and knowledge of astrology. Then you can go to your personal chart and look at what's transiting and how it's actually affecting certain energies in your own system.
Yeah.
And then that gives you the awareness then to be able to make that pullback and then see it for what it is, realizing that, those shadow aspects, you know, in context to the reversals that are running on the solar spiral are you know, this is how I'm going to have to deal with them. So this is how you transmute. You know, a lot of people don't understand that transmutation is a process, and without awareness, you're not going to transmute shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy for people to kind of just virtue signal and say, like, you know, transmutation and alchemy and all this stuff. But it's
yeah, man, give me some buzzwords, man.
But it's a grueling process, yeah, like you said, and you got to really. I totally lost my train of thought, but yeah.
But that's how it works, man. They you know, they take something that actually is like a very powerful modality, a very powerful type of gnosis, and they take it and they spiritualize it, or try to put it into a label or a category so that it has a box around it.
Yeah.
See? So then that box then becomes the alchemy. That box then becomes the transmutation, when in fact that's just a very small sliver of how it actually is on a multidimensional level when you're looking at from the Piscean energy and the big picture. And that's the problem with this fucking New Age shit, because that drives the narrative to, oh yeah, man, we're out here, we're doing our thing, man, we're doing our drum circle, we're smoking a little weed, you know, kind of trying to, you know, groove with the earth energies, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That all that shit is just is driving you into more escapism more not actually doing alchemical work, biospiritual regenesis, and taking yourself to the transformation process.
So
You're
what is it?
you're actually working against your own system
Right.
mechanics by doing that.
So what it might actually look like is, looking up the transits and looking up your chart and studying it, and thinking and writing and reflecting, right? I mean, it's a totally different kind of activity.
Yeah, because you're actually doing work.
Yeah.
You're actually gazing into your inner universe.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And once you start to understand your inner universe, how you work, how everything works within you, what you're creating with your thought forms, what you're broadcasting, how your vibrational correspondence works, what choices you're making to your mindset, then that's when you can actually forge something magical in your life. When you start to understand who you are. And that's what the word gnosis means.
Yes.
To know thyself.
Boom. As above, so below, don't you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And then that's, and what does that actually mean, as above, so below? What does that actually mean? I mean, if you were to ask somebody, well, what is vibrational correspondence? What does that actually mean? Most people couldn't tell you because they don't understand how actual things are reversed in this world. Everything is running. Everything that is running literally like on a reversal is running like on the correct timeline. It's just that we are pulled into this phantom aspect here that's running on the reversals. See? And so that's pulled us off on that 23.4 axis, created the cosmic winters on the poles, taken us out of our true north alignment, and then hijacked the 23.4, which is the 9, which is the actual energy force of humanity. And
Can
then
you give an example, Rodney, of that?
anything that's any type of aspect when you're dealing with morality, objective morality, natural law type of aspects, when you're dealing with black sun technology, you're dealing with inverted Saturnian energy, and that Saturnian energy is actually there to bring us into a space where we are forging something. Saturn is about forging something. It's earth magic. So what are you forging? Are you forging ignorance, willful ignorance? Are you forging karmic aspects in your life because you haven't cultivated any awareness, right? So this is the reversals in context to the black sun and the Saturnian energy and cube technology that's being used to that lockdown. Hence the example I gave you about alchemy, transmutation, putting things in a box. That is the inverted Saturnian energy. When you're looking at it, see? That's how that works.
And how do we break out of that box?
The Tesseract is
the Tesseract. Fuck yeah.
The Tesseract is the key to the Tesseract is understanding your own personal transformation and your own personal arts of gnosis.
Yeah.
That's how you get out of it. And then you get the ignition, see, by stepping into objective morality and being that person, creating that awareness and making those choices to truth is how you ignite your sun.
Yeah. Well
That's
said.
how your core gets ignited. Because now you're no longer feeding into the distortions and the overlays. See? And so they get weak. And the weaker they get, the easier they are to transmute. It's energy. Look, everything's energy. It's energy that's sitting there blocking your hardcore intelligence from coming online. You got to transmute that energy. You can't just wish it away. Give me a genie, give me a djinn. Let's just wish it away. Give me that magic pill. I just want to take a pill. I don't want to actually forge any health. Just give me the pill so I can feel it. See? And that's the
Pressing
same
the
thing.
easy button on life.
Give me the spiritual pill. Give me the guru. Give me the whatever. I'll follow him. Cult. I'll follow that. Give me the new age stuff. That'll be my magic pill. And that's what people want, and that's why we're in the shit we're in.
Yeah.
Real talk. Yeah, real quick, and one of these pills come in forms that are actually good practices, but yet they're still including some of these inversions. Kind of like take it to alchemy. And how are people doing breath work? And have you seen these memes floating around? Like you inhale all the good positivity and then you exhale the negativity. That's not how alchemy works. We're not supposed to be exhaling negativity out into the reality field. And I wanted to touch on,
Yeah,
going.
where is that going? Where are you taking it to?
Mhm.
If you're going to release something that is, that is shadow aspect, where are you going to put that energy? See?
I'll just share. Maybe it's a little devil's advocate on this. My studies of the Andean cosmology and mysticism from the mountains of Peru, Andes mountains
Probably
of
what I was
Peru,
getting ready to get into, but yeah, go
they
ahead.
Oh,
they do a lot of basically they do energy medicine,
Mhm.
and so their basic energy practices is about bringing in the high vibratory energy from nature through your, kind of over your system, over your energy bubbles, and speeding up your vibration and pushing through blockages and
Mhm.
stagnation. But it is about sort of seeing it exit out like your tailbone into the earth, and that they see
Yeah.
that the earth as the absorber, and that it's like compost, where the Pachamama sort of transforms and does that alchemy and turns our hucha, our sort of stagnant energy, into new growth, right? So there are
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to get into. Where are you
okay, cool.
sending it?
Yeah, yeah.
And where are you transmuting the energy to? And just like with alchemy, you start with the calcination process. It burns it to ashes, and then you're rebuilding something out of those ashes. Well, during that distillation process, the water is washing and mixing with the ashes, and it's washing away the impurities. Or where are those going? You send those into the earth,
mm,
just like Needhog in Yggdrasil. He's eating at the roots, but what is actually happening on the White Dragon there is that he's eating at all of the cosmic junk that is built up on the tree, so that the tree can grow. See, it's not necessary. You can
mhm.
look at the mythos a lot of different ways, and a lot of people look at Needhog as, oh, he's eating at the roots of Yggdrasil. But in fact, I think a lot of times we have to look at the other side of that, which is, no, he's actually eating up the cosmic garbage.
Yeah, that matches. And in
Yeah.
the Andean, the Quechua language, it's hucha, and
Yes.
then the high vibratory energy is the sami. And
Right. Which is the
yeah,
eagle at the top of Yggdrasil.
wow,
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
cool.
So you got the dragon and the eagle, or the phoenix, on the tree
Mhm.
of Yggdrasil, and then those energies are as above, so below. See, and that's what
Mhm.
the alchemical, looking at the alchemical aspect of the phoenix and the dragon, they're both actually the same when like and dislike. When you're looking at the law of polarity and balance, they're both the same in context, but one is the dragon is on a transmutation process, and the eagle is on that space where it is seeing the big picture, being able then to take things to that Piscean energy, that 12th gate, and then being able to navigate the waters of Neptune, the healing waters of Neptune. And that's how that
Mhm.
works. And that's why, when we look at the cosmos, with the cosmology of mythologies, we can really come into a space where we can weave those together like threads. And, looking at, indigenous cosmologies, Norse, Egyptian, taking it back to different types of Greek, different types of, how these all our archetypes all play out. There are a lot of threads that weave
Mhm.
in context to how to even the Norns, that
Yeah.
aspect of weaving.
Mhm.
And so when we're looking at certain um, archetypes that are linked with these cosmologies, it's just like the pyramids, man. The
Mhm.
pyramids are linked all over the continent. And just because the continent has been divided, and at one point it wasn't, doesn't mean that all those pyramids aren't linked together, and they still are. There's still a network there.
Right. And probably linked to something above that we're,
Yeah,
you know.
or in the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Interesting. Huh. Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there when you're dealing with alchemy, when you're dealing with regenesis type of stuff.
Mhm.
It's not always easy. because you do, I mean, there comes a point when you do cross a threshold where you're like, oh man, I'll never, I'm not looking back, and there is a point of no return with this stuff where you really are solidified in it, and you can't get pulled back into the, church realm. You can't get pulled back into the religious aspects. You can't get pulled back into the bullshit, because you've already cultivated and created enough awareness now of your own gnosis that you know the difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what people have to really get,
Yeah. That is in a way a subjective experience, right?
Yeah, because it's different for everybody, because everybody's system's different.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So what's going on with this equinox? What do we got happening here?
Well, the equinox is, that's, we're looking at grand, cardinal energy. So when you're looking at cardinal energy, it's initiatory, just like spring is initiatory. And so when we're dealing with Aries, we're dealing with, cardinal fire. And that's what we're coming into. That's why and I'm not downgrading any other system of astrology. But this is one of the reasons why I like the tropical, because it does line up with the Grand Cross, lines up with the Axis Mundi, and it really gives us a space where we can gauge the seasons in context to cardinal energy. And so it becomes a very powerful art of gnosis to work with, that helps you to, define your own cardinal energy, and how that is working with the seasons, how it's working with the solstices, how it's working with the equinoxes. When we're talking equinox, we're talking equal parts of light and dark. So we're looking at what? We're looking at a balance, and so that equinox energy is the 1-7 axis when you're looking at self, and then you're looking at relationships. So how are you working with vibrational correspondence, as within as without, not only to your own self? Do you like yourself? Do you love yourself? Are you bringing yourself into a space where you are having a great rapport with yourself, with you, and then you take that to relationships, and that's how you wield out the correspondence to your partner, to your brother, to your sister, to your siblings, to your business partners, on down the line, when we're looking at Venus energy. So we're looking at Aries and Venus energy, and then it really drives the narrative then to the cardinal aspect of fire, which is Aries, and air, which is Libra. That 1-7 axis. So what happens when fire and air to get together?
We get a bigger fire, don't
we get accelerants.
Yeah. So that could be good.
It could be good as long as the Aries energy is in alignment with Scorpio. Yeah. If the Mars or Aries energy gets out of alignment, and then the tyrant begins to come out, the making choices and decisions without thinking, not using your right brain at all, left brain, you're not using any of your brain, you're just being stupid.
Yeah, with all that Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like going on the battlefield with your sword against, and you're by yourself, and there's 100 warriors in front of you. I'm gonna get them, well, yeah, right.
Yeah, I've known people.
Good luck.
Yeah, so that's something for people to watch out for then.
It is, especially during this time, because it's initiatory. I mean, you see it in the earth energies as well, with everything's blooming, everything's coming to life again. And you start to see how things are actually also manipulated in context to the seasons. I mean, we can go all the way down the seasons, but how are things manipulated with these holy days, with the holidays, right? How are things manipulated? Okay, well, you've got 2 holidays or holy days, quote unquote holy days, that are set in the midst of the equinox. You've got St. Patrick's Day and Easter. So both of these are set in between the energies of the equinox to run the reversals in context to the actual energy of the equinox, and finding that balance. And I think that happens with all of our major cross, when we're looking at the Grand Cross or the Axis Mundi. Capricorn energy, it's Christmas, on the 25th, So when you're looking at these type of energies, with the Cancer energy, it's the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, it's just the patriot programming. So all of when you're looking at the wheel, all of these energies are being psyoped in context to the holy days, holidays, right? That's how that's been working.
Well, and then the season of sacrifice is this time.
Yeah, because you've had all this time now during the winter solstice to regenerate. That's what the winter solstice is all about. It's the water element.
Yeah.
So you're there to regenerate. You're there to transform. You're there to pull back. You're there to, regenerate your emotional, spiritual, and mental, physical aspects. And then when the spring comes, those, all of that inner reflection and inner pullback now, formulating your choices, what you're going to step into. Now is time to initiate that with the Aries energy. And so then you initiate that on that 1-7 axis point, with other people. This is how we do it. We're not just doing it alone. Well, there's, like, you're having this podcast, you two are having a relationship. You have a relationship with this podcast. That's Venus. That's the 7th gate. That's that's understanding the Libra energy. And so you can try to keep balance with that relationship so that you can continue to put out content. That's how it works.
So there is, if we're going to talk about like the season of sacrifice and see that as an intentional opportunity, like to utilize this energy, to put in like cause. I lost my articulation on this, but it's like, how does this particular season magnify? Like, how does the astrology magnify the violence? Like St. Paddy's Day is an act of violence originally. We'll get to that, but how does this season? How are people taking advantage of this season to do dastardly deeds, I guess?
Well, this is when they threw out in 2020, when they threw out the needlecraft, man.
Exactly.
When they threw out the virus, this is what they used. They used the Aries energy, and so this is how they work with it. Because it's cardinal fire. So you'll find that during this time, there is a lot of 322. It is the sacrifice of the satanic, rulers that have set up their kingdom here. Yeah. And so we're looking at 322. What are you, skull and bones? You're looking at all of that, and so we have to, like, just backing up here a little bit. Like last night, my dreams where I was not good. I was watching some really evil shit, and I woke up and I'm like, people don't know, they don't understand how evil this fucking shit is. They don't get it. And the reason why they don't get it is because they're wearing rose-colored glasses. They don't understand how absolute evil works.
Right.
Okay, that's what we're dealing with when we're looking at when we're looking at inverted Aries energy. We're looking at very tyrannical, very narcissistic aspects that are not only cultivating and sowing the seeds of evil, but performing the deeds of evil. And if people really understood how evil shit is, they would get on their shit like so fast. They would be like, oh my God, I don't have enough time. I've got to get my shit together. And you need to be getting your shit together. because this is not a game. We're not in some, this is my playground. I'm going to have, we are up against high level dark mages.
Mm-hmm.
We're up against ancient shit. People
Mm-hmm.
don't understand it. We've dropped in here. We're trying to make a difference, but these motherfuckers have been doing this for a long time.
How do we protect ourselves from that energy?
By working your own learning who you are.
Yeah, it keeps coming back, right? That's always
you got to go back
back
into your inner universe, and that's your protection. You got to learn how to draw boundaries. That's your protection. That's Capricorn energy. That seals off your auric field. When you actually learn how to draw boundaries, and you're allowing the emotional bullshit to hook into your auric field, not allowing yourself to be your energy to be siphoned into bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that energy gets siphoned off into the energy loosh harvest and all that jazz. Take it, you're talking about Saturn and the moon matrix and all that before, and to help protect us, psychic self-defense and drawing the circle of the magician, as Seth Exposa talks about it a lot. And man,
hyperdimensional warfare.
Boom. Yeah, I was going to say that too.
It's real. It is literally they, and I'm not kidding you, these dark fucks, when they feel like there is an intrusion upon their space, and there is actually someone that is a true mage, that has a true calling, that has the templating for that, let me tell you, the warfare can be very, very intense. I've come up against this type of dark sorcery, astral projecting in front of me, literally being able to physically choke someone that is in my room, in my space, come in and astral project to do that. Literally looking through the eyes of animals. I mean, this shit is real. People don't understand it, but this shit is real. I've seen it firsthand. I've had to come up against that type of sorcery before and shut it down.
Yeah.
We have the ability to do that, but the problem has been most of us aren't addressing the evil. We're not addressing how evil shit really is.
Yeah. Yeah. Not even admitting to ourselves how we
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this isn't, I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just trying to say you need to take a look and be honest with this, I mean, the whole pedophile thing and the Jeffrey Epstein, that's all fucking smokescreen. The real evil's much deeper than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking really, and I'm not going to get into it, but we're talking really evil shit.
Yeah.
And
like the holidays that are coming up, are inversions of there's trickery going on around, like St. Paddy's Day. Let's get into that.
Man.
Yeah.
I hope you're going to have me over for some corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah.
And green beer.
And green beer, man. Yeah.
The river's green and all that
beer.
Shit. We're not going to paint the town red. It's going green, man.
Give me some bangers and mash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no offense to folks that are, celebrating that out there. And hey, Rodney.
I like corned beef.
How many bars can't wait to cash in on this day? Because, times are kind of slow around, we're getting into spring. St. Paddy's Day. Yeah, they're going to fucking sell out. Imagine if that holiday didn't exist for them now, all of a sudden, because hey, we got to denounce the, some, fuckery type of shit.
Well, and then the people of Irish descent are celebrating this as, in a way, I think, not recognizing the real corruptness of the actual.
Well, what happens is, we're looking at the papacy, right? I mean, that's what we're looking at. So when we're dealing with that, St. Patrick's, aspect, the word Patrick or St. Patrick is a title. That's not his fucking name. Okay. And people got to understand that's a title. That is, his name wasn't Patrick. All right. So what are we looking at here? It's like the Duke of Ellington. I mean, we're looking at a title, you know, and so when we're dealing with that, that's Catholicism. That's what was, that's what was brought into the 1400s into Ireland, and the quote unquote driving the snakes out, all that shit, right? They don't realize what that actually is. That's actually the serpents of wisdom from the Juratic tribes that were slaughtered by the Inquisitions of St. Patrick.
Yeah.
Supposedly, March 17th is the day he died. I don't think, I mean, this is what we're dealing with, So we're dealing with what? Another inversion that's siphoning the energy to the papacy in context, and cutting off the gate of the equinox and the balance and the initiatory energies of fire, the fire element and the air element, that when we're looking at the balance between the equinox's aspect and light and darkness, right? That's being cut off. That gate is closed because now your mindset, your mind, your thoughts have been taken towards the whole St. Patrick's Day. See? And so that's what they throw that in there, drive it to the reversal, cut the gate off, close the fucking access points, so that when the equinox comes, you're not celebrating anything. You're not stepping into a new version of yourself here. You're still hungover from St. Patrick's Day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the 317? What do you think about those numbers? Is there anything significant about 317?
317 is it's 11.
That's a power number.
Yeah.
And
I haven't really studied that too much.
The 3 and the 7. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean the 7. 7's a number of the mystic. It is the seventh dream. It is the dream world. The 3 is harmony, harmonious, and because things are in threes. Body, soul, spirit on down the line, and then the 1 is self. So it's actually a very positive number. But I think when you're running a holiday like St. Patrick's Day, and people don't realize that they're celebrating the slaughter of just like the indigenous tribes got slaughtered here in America, the Juratic tribes got slaughtered by the papacy in Ireland. And do we really want to? I mean, do people really? I mean, I know they don't think about it on a conscious level, but they are giving energy to those events.
Yeah.
That took place, that shed blood upon the earth.
Yeah. Just in my own little play of numbers, I'm thinking of the 1 is in between the 3 and the 7. So the 1, like the ego, maybe in between the harmony and the mystic, like
yeah,
like,
good point.
Like slicing through and blocking the dream, the power of the 7, and from being harmonious. I don't know, just
true. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, thinking about gates getting closed off and all that. There was an ancient druidic site at the top of a hill, and now it's called like Crow Patrick, aka Reek, which was once known as the Cruchon Egli, which is also in English Eagle Mountain. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but yeah, that was more of like, I don't know if that was a place that had certain like a vortex, energy vortex.
Is this in Ireland?
Yes.
Yeah, so those high places were places of sacrifice for the fucking Baal worship, man.
Right.
It's been that way for a very, very long time. The Baal, Baal Lilith, and the cult of the cult of Baal and Baal and all that. this is part of the, sacrificing and satanic ritual in those high places, that they inverted the energy. They're using that energy and then, with the inversions of it to drive the narrative to their agendas, and I think that's been going on for a long time, man.
No. But
Are
before
those
that, apparently it was, more of a
Yeah.
sacred site ceremony.
Yeah, but they take these sacred sites and they use them for those purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of
Overlays and shit.
it's part of the agenda, satanic agenda, that's running. And let's face it. I mean, we're up against a very high level satanic communist agenda that's trying to run the narrative to to disempower the individual. That's been going on for a long time, but it's in our face right now.
Yeah, 100%. So, what would be a good approach to, talk to the common folk of like, the day's coming up and stuff. I want to share this video and be like, hey, check this out, because, St. Patrick's Day isn't necessarily what you think it is. Don't take it the wrong way, because we've all been duped type of thing. But, these things just really got to be considered if we're going to, I don't know, live in a more harmonious future type of thing. Like, why do we want to be living on all these falsehoods? We got to nip them in the bud one by one, in a sense. And there's so many of them. We got to start somewhere, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Too many, man. Fuck.
One thing you got to remember about a date, like the equinox, a conjunction, certain things in the sky, right? An eclipse, even, is that's signaling something. Okay, it's not necessarily that energy is of that day. No, that energy is signaling something that is about to take place. Okay, and so it's giving us a heavenly signal in the heavens, and the heavens then are declaring or prophesying to us in context to the alignments and the conjunctions and squares and all on down the line, trines. It's signaling something to us on an individual level and a collective level. It's always both. And so when you're looking at the equinox and the solstices, it's signaling it's time to initiate. It's time to initiate.
Mhm.
And so this is all about how we create the newer versions of ourselves, the better versions of ourselves. We use cardinal energy to do it. That's how we work. That's how we work with the Grand Cross and the Axis Mundi in context to the actual sun energy, if you want to talk about it, which is the circle with the cross in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You see that symbol all over the world in statues and monuments everywhere.
It's like each quarter marks like a turn of the spiral. In a way, we have an opportunity to grow.
Yes, right. Yeah, because the spiral, what does it do? It spirals. It's moving, right?
Yeah.
And expanding. And that's what we need to be doing. We need to be working with the spirals, and bringing things up. We can spiral down into the earth energies. We can spiral up into the heavenly energies, and then that's how we work with our own Merkaba field and context. And this is why the Merkaba aspect has been on reversals with humanity for a long time, because things have been, instead of actually someone taking control of their own field, they're being siphoned off because their field is controlled and building someone else's kingdom. And that's what that's your sun energy. Your sun is your kingdom. So when you're looking at your sun and your sun placing and the house placing back behind it and what it's aspecting in context, then you can look at how the mechanics of how you're to build your kingdom.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like these inverted holidays are ways to keep us away from doing the true self work, right? That's going to keep us in this spiral, but it's like keeping us just in that slow plane. We're going around in circles.
It's keeping us on the 8.
Okay, like the infinity.
Yeah.
Around and
feedback
around.
loops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's over the head of the magician card.
Yeah.
So the magic is being, it's being held on,
Like
the magic of the
recirculating.
human race being held on in a nexus point. So when you look at the 8, what do you have in the middle? You have a nexus point.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point where where the choice could be made to break out of the 8 into the 9, or actually stay in that and then go another round. It's your choice. Humanity's at that precipice right now. We're at that nexus point with the 8, where are we going to stay on this loop, or are we going to break out of it?
The clash.
Look, the AI timeline is going to happen. There's no stopping it now, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that people have to get pulled into it. And all this bullshit that they're going to try to run out. All the promises and all the great things. Well, if you get this chip, it can interface with your brain, and then you'll be like Neo. It's like all that shit you plug into the matrix, man. All the information is right at your thought. We can input all that information into your synopsis and fire it from a satellite. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could literally know how to do that over there. We can give you the codes and the information right to your chip, right to interface with your brain, and then you can know how to drive that fucking car over there, man.
Yeah, like Neuralink. And then Apple just came out with a new product that's like you put the goggles on and it takes you into another world, and people are like driving cars with them on and like walking across the street with them on, and they're like
with the glasses on?
With the glasses, like these
Virtual
3D reality glasses. And I've talked to somebody who tried them, and she said it's like incredibly real.
Like interfacing with actual time, but in another reality?
Yeah.
So you're actually working with another person, but you have these glasses on?
But that's how people, that's what people are doing, like silly people.
The wrong kind of glasses, not the ones like in They Live, the movie, right?
Those would be better glasses. We need those glasses.
Can you imagine everybody walking around with those fucking things on there?
Seriously. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like merging, the fantasy with the reality in this bizarre way,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get too hog-tied in the tech. It just seems like there's so much entanglement already, and then it's just going to get worse, and, the big brother is going to mutate into some cyborg type of crazy shit.
Well, that's why we need to know ourselves and to not really be hungry for getting outside of ourselves.
If you want to hook up your brain to a quantum computer, go the fuck ahead. I mean, it's on you.
Yes.
I'd rather want to hook up to my own codes in context to my incarnations and my soul's journey, and then being able to, remove those overlays. So I've got the information. I've got to do something because I've already done it. I've done it. I did that in my 143rd lifetime. So I already have the codes. I've got the genetic memory of that, how to do that already. I just have to tap into it on a quantum level.
Yeah. To me, that's more exciting than somebody else's, fake imagery, I guess.
Well, when you're dealing with the computer aspects, you're dealing with anything that's artificial, that's running your system. You are going to be, there's a point where everything shuts down here. You have your magnetic field shuts down, everything shuts down.
Yeah. And if you don't use it, you kind of lose it after a while, I think.
Yeah, you're going to burn yourself out.
Yeah.
And then your whole, do you really think that these these Atlantean programs that are running context that they're trying to bring back around, do you really think that they give a shit about you? They give a flying fuck about you. Do you think they really care about you? Oh yeah, we're going to give you all this great stuff. No, they are there to genetically modify you to be their fucking slaves.
Yeah. As Mark Passio has been emphasizing lately, we need to learn the difference between the natural and the artificial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then
And
really, go ahead, Ron.
And if you're not getting that, if you're not understanding that, you're not understanding that, you're not actively doing your own personal work, then you are missing out. You're missing out on this opportunity with these stellar activations, the things that are going on, the transits that are happening, all the energies that are coming this year. You're missing out on regenesis opportunities because you yourself are making choices to something else. And as long as you continue to do that, you're never going to grow. You're going to be moving backwards. You're not going to forge anything, and you're going to continue to be a slave. You're going to continue to give your power away.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it. I'm not I'm not sitting here telling anybody anything they don't already fucking know. It's just all about, what is your choice? What are you actually forging? Are you actually working with your Saturnian energy in context to natural law, or are you not?
Yeah.
Where is your Saturn? Where's your limitations? Where's your delays? Where's your ignorance? Look at your chart. You'll find your ignorance, where your karmic aspects are.
Mm-hmm.
See? And that's where you go to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leslie, so you wanted to know more about that natty law, eh?
Well, that's kind of what you're getting into, right?
Yeah, totally. Would you be able to give like a general overarching correspondence to how natural law fits into the science of life, of alchemy or
Astrology.
alchemy too, but yeah, astrology, rather, but yeah, it's
Well,
all tied together somehow. All these, sciences of life.
well, so when you're
Beautiful, right?
when you're working with alchemy, when you're working with the hermetical principles, and you're working with them together, which is the cosmic law of alchemy. When you're looking at it, it's not just one part, but there's these other parts that have to be put together with that. So you're not only working with calcination, you're working with the law of mentalism. So this, when we're working with different aspects of how they're being weaved together and put together, then you can start to really work with, look at where your Saturn placing is, look at what house, look at what it's aspecting in context to your karmic ignorance, your karmic aspects that you need to work out, you need to have awareness with, so that literally Saturn will come with a checklist. I had a literal dream about this in succession during my Saturn return. Literally a checklist, and checking off and marking off the things that I've finished, that I did, that I've got done, all the way down the line. Literally, that's how it works. So you have bullet points, you have checklists, you have literal interface with Saturn, whether you understand it or not. You do have that. And so what happens is that the more you work with your Saturnian energy, the more awareness you're going to create to your karmic ignorance. That's how you reverse it, because then the karmic ignorance gets burned off in context to the sixth gate. With the sixth gate is Virgo. That's service to others. Okay, and then the eighth gate becomes the place where it burns off to transformation, because because of your transformative aspect, right? You're able then to move through that seventh gate of wisdom to that eighth gate of transformation, and then drop down into that sixth gate, learn how to take care of your physical body, learn how to take care of your mental and emotional aspects in context to Virgo and health, and then be able to move through that to that balance, get that transformative aspect, and then take all that karmic ignorance that you have cultivated over incarnations and burn it off in service to others.
It's like an operating manual of sorts, if you know how to read it, I guess.
It is because that's your Saturnian energy in context to what you're actually manifesting in Earth magic shifts and changes. And this is how you reweave your weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for our audience who may not understand what weird is, could you define that?
The weird is your it's the choices that you've made over lifetimes that is determining your fate.
Yeah.
So the weird is your fate.
Yeah.
So it becomes, the place where you are making choices, whether they're ignorance, whether they're cosmic principle, and you're learning how to reweave it through the runic energies. Okay. So we're taking the runic energies now, we're working with them in context to correspondence with not only natural law, but also with astrology. And we're looking at the correspondence between the runes and astrology and realizing that, oh, wait a second here. Venus is holding Fehu, resources, money. See? So we look at, we look at that. Oh, Uruz is strength. That's the bull, that's the ox, So we're looking at these correspondences on how to reweave our choices. And that starts with our state of mind, which takes it back to the law of mentalism.
Yes.
This is the state of mind in context. So the more you're able to dive into your gnosis in context to the runes and linking them with astrotheology, the more you're able then to bring a fuller picture, a bigger picture of how to reweave your weird, which has been your karmic aspects and your fate over the lifetimes that you're caught in.
Wow.
And then you can reweave that weird into the space of alignment. True North, Odin Ma. Bring it into that space where you are actually then driving the narrative to true alignment and truth. And
Awesome.
then the Norns don't weep any fucking more.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Real talk.
That's a good goal right there.
Yeah. Wow. You reminded me of something that I was writing something up to post on Facebook, and it was kind of just like preparing for our conversation and just like thinking about these things in correspondence with natural law and everything, and like my post had a picture of about the first cosmic law principle of mentalism, and just like going over certain things of how the moon corresponds to like mind and all that, or mind state, and in reference to moon being Maldek, and Maldek kind of representing shattered consciousness, or basically is, and what you mentioned before of just all this past life trauma and karma and stuff that's been accumulated up until our present incarnation or pro-incarnation, whatever people want to call it. How do you see this playing out, and how can we kind of heal these fragmented shards of consciousness?
Well, you got to get to your Jupiter. That's difficult because the asteroid belt is between Mars and Jupiter.
Oh.
So when you're looking at the asteroid belt being between Mars and Jupiter, what's cut off? Your passion, your action, how you're moving towards igniting your ninth gate, which is the Jupiter energy, which is your sage. See, your inner sage, Sagittarius. So your inner sage is cut off because your heart's eclipsed and you've got all this debris that we've been cut off with in context to Maldek, and understanding that planetary aspect in consciousness, Tara, getting into Tiamat, understanding how these energies work. It's planet, but it's consciousness. And so when you're looking at consciousness, we're looking at learning how to navigate the asteroid belt. You ever see that movie where in Star Wars where they're trying to run their ship through all these asteroids, and that's kind of how it is. So then your moon gets jammed. Your moon energies is your navigation point, which is actually a piece of Maldek.
Jupiter is?
No, the moon.
The moon is. Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So that's your navigation point to what? To the asteroid belt, which is Maldek in fragmented consciousness.
Oh.
That's how you get to your Jupiter.
Which is an emotional aspect, right? The moon?
Yeah, because you're emotionally jammed.
Yeah.
Context to your intelligence. You haven't developed any.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, so then your navigation then to thought and emotion, becomes, it becomes like a you're bumping into asteroids, man. You're hitting ceilings. You're getting spun back from the veils because you're not able to
Yeah.
actually break through things.
Isn't that the emotional ride, that is we all need, to work on to navigate and to master, right?
Well, emotion is this frequency. It's powerful.
Yeah.
But if it's not navigated correctly, and your emotional triggers are driving the narrative to your woundedness, to your chiron aspect, then what are you doing? You're not healing.
Right, and that's what's being manipulated with, all of the false flags and all of these, the
Right.
pollution and everything is to jam up your emotional, right? Your nervous system, the functioning of your pure sort of technology. It's getting in the way, it's jamming it up, it's creating, blockades and
Yeah, poets,
confusions.
priests, and politicians,
Yeah.
have their words to bring your submission,
Yeah.
but no one's jamming their transmission.
There you go.
What
Sounds
song is
like a
that from?
song. Yeah, song. Yeah.
That's your own poetry. But real quick, in regard going back to what you mentioned, Tiamat, Tara, there's and I don't think this is the same as that hilltop I mentioned, the mountaintop of a Reek or whatever. But there's also in Ireland Tara Hill. So that immediately made me think of what you were speaking about when looking this up earlier.
Oh wow, I
the other
didn't know
day, like,
that. Really, is that in Ireland?
yeah. So I was like, wow,
Oh, is that in Ireland as well?
yeah.
Oh wow.
And real quick, because there's different tribes and groups of. I mean, I don't want to say it all originates to paganism or whatever. We have tribes like the Tuwa and others, but from just looking into that in that word in the phonetics of that, I'm really curious as to if the derogatory term that the UK, it's more infamous than anywhere else in the world. They use the word twat as a derogatory term, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if that originated from the Tuwa, because it's pronounced, TWA is how that tribe is spelled, and I wonder if that's just something to kind of disgrace, that culture that was they already like kind of tried to wipe off the map already, so they're just rubbing it in their face, type of thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've never thought about that, but yeah, I mean, it is kind of along the same lines, isn't it?
And isn't there like a Tuatha and some uh, a certain pagan god or druidic god?
I'm not that familiar with the Tuatha De
Forget the
Danann. I haven't really studied it too deeply, to be honest
neither
with
of
you.
yeah, it's just rings a bell and
So
just
it's
like
not necessarily something I could comment on because I don't know that much about it.
no worries, brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I should dive more into the Druidic stuff because I'm full Irish, so I mean
word.
I should probably at some point dive into that.
Well, when you have, then let us know and you can come back on and
Yeah.
dive deeper.
Yeah, I mean, my father is from England and English heritage, and my mother's Irish, so it's all the Albion Codex that I have. So like on the crest, on our crest, our family crest is the griffin.
Yeah.
And that's up on the crest with the lions and the griffin on the head on top of it. So it's just like it's really interesting because all these energies and archetypes have certain characteristics to the lineage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be really interesting to study those family crests more, and
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It is. It really is interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
I was looking at mine, on my mother's side, and it goes back to the Red Branch Knights at the turn, way back, even BC, and and so I was actually studying that and it's so weird. Had a friend of mine. They brought me this thing. I think I've got it over here. Let me go get it. Hang on a second. This is so cool.
Yeah, sure. So in the meantime, Leslie, what's your take of any kind of insights you thought about how natural law ties into astrology?
Well,
Ooh,
I think,
shit.
oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that is powerful.
Damn, man.
Yeah. So what is that?
So I'm studying about the Red Branch Knights, right? And I've been doing this breakdown in context of my mother's lineage side, right? And so she is one of my friends, and they're like, "Oh, hey, I found this, man, and I thought of you. I thought I'd bring it over to your house." Dropped it off at my house at the same time that I was studying this.
Wow. Yeah.
Synchronicious, yo.
Seriously.
So it's such a cool.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, she got it at Goodwill. I mean, and I'm just like, she goes, when I saw that, I just thought of you,
Yeah, that's cool.
And literally the week that I was studying that, this showed up.
Wow, that's so cool. Yes,
Yeah.
that's something.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Meaningful. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's also, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's the Two of Swords.
Right.
Also.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
And so, it's being able to take that energy, the Two of Swords, it's like, okay, I don't want to make any choices. I just want to be blindfolded. But look, you have also here, which looks like to me, the Knight of Wands as well. Energy.
Right.
Yeah,
well, and then there's the cross.
Yeah.
The equinox is kind of
yeah, right, exactly. And then the swords are representing Gebo.
Right. Yeah. The X.
Yeah.
Reciprocity. I mean, that would really, the equinox must represent reciprocity in some way. Right?
Yeah.
Give and take.
Yes.
Yeah. Consideration of self and others.
That's right. Yes.
And what you can create from that harmonious alignment between yourself and others. It's like big thing.
Exactly. And then that creative flow of Venus then kicks in because that's where the creativity is. And then the octave of Venus is Neptune. That's Venus 2.0. So you literally have then this creative aspect between the octaves of Venus and Neptune working with your imagination in context to connection with relationships, bringing something beautiful into the realm.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting late for you there, Rodney, and I know you've had a busy time, so I want to let you get to sleep. But any final kind of thoughts or points that either of you want to make sure we touch before we set you free?
Yeah. Go ahead, Derek.
No, I'll let you go first. Nothing that came to mind, but yeah.
Well, I think a lot of times during these shifts, when we're looking at major shifts and things that are taking place, we have to take an evaluation of our lives and our mental state. And I think most people get too busy to evaluate their mental condition.
Yes.
And they don't take time to actually look at, where their thoughts are going. Are they controlling their thoughts? Number one. Number two, are they taking responsibility for what they're thinking? And number three, what are they actually putting into action? And I think this particular time with the equinox, when we're looking at equal parts of light and dark, is a great time to find balance, to be able then to have a mental reflection. I would recommend for anyone to take a few hours during this period of time of the equinox when we're coming up to it. Take a half a day, take some time for yourself, and just shut everything down. Yeah. Close the doors, close the windows, turn the lights off, lay in the darkness, and observe listen to who you are. Listen to your thoughts. Don't engage in them. Just let them come up, listen to them, see what you're keyed into.
Yeah.
It's a great meditative practice to do once in a while because you're just you. It's by yourself. There's nothing around.
Mhm.
There's no phone on. There's no computer on. There's no TV on. There's no, it's all shut down.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's on is you.
Yeah.
And
You
so
might be surprised to find out what's actually running in your mind.
exactly.
Yeah.
So then step into your observation
Mhm.
aspect there and observe the thought forms that are coming up. It's a great practice to do. It really is it's a ritual practice actually that's been used for thousands of years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's your Pisces energy. That's your isolation, and and really take an honest evaluation, and then that'll give you a cause point then, or a point of reference to how you can formulate a game plan to level up your mental health.
Yeah. I so concur with that as a recommendation. And I think we need to do it more frequently than on equinoxes for sure.
Yeah.
And
Can I mention something? Unless you
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
But yeah, just to that before I lose my train of thought, and so much pun intended, because one of the things that I've done, in practice to, in those moments of solitude and just kind of wanting to, yeah, just clear my mind or just lay down and, let whatever thoughts wash over me and try to be, the objective observer as best I can. And one of the things that I found that is helpful is like, yeah, there's all these trains running through our mind and brain, right? These trains of thought. Can we just, sit back and chill at, on the bench at the K, whatever? What is it called again? The platform in English. And just, watch them go by, observe it, see what's going on in there, and, how many passengers, how many cars or whatever, and just, all right, that's what it is. Objective A to Z. What's on the next one? Oh, we got these transits going, correspondent, all this shit. So, yeah, just
yeah.
we can have
Yeah,
fun with it too, right? But,
your thoughts will betray you if you don't take control of them.
Mhm.
ooh, like going back to Thoth.
Yeah, your thoughts, your betrayal. That is where we betray ourselves.
Mhm.
And then when we act on those betrayal aspects and a core wound within the antagonistic core itself, then what happens is that we put all kinds of excuses, all kinds of stuff in front of it. Let's just mask it up, and then we're literally partaking in a mask ritual, which is what we just came out of in 2020.
Yeah.
And that's what they were doing. They were masking us up in context to a ritual so that we would not look at our own true magic mirror gate.
Yeah.
You got to look at your own true magic mirror. If you don't look at your own mirror, you're not and seeing that reflection. And I'm not talking about anyone else being your mirror. I'm talking about your mirror, you. You got to take a good look at what's reflecting back at you.
Yeah. And it seems especially important to look at the Mars Aries energy, the conflict,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yes.
how you handle conflict internally, how you're resolving conflicts internally and outwardly in relationships, and then how you're managing or thinking about the conflicts that are happening in the world, that may ramp up in different ways throughout the season. That seems super important. And with this, like, you know, emphasis on how do you find the balance, how do you find your center and grounding and be in true reciprocity during this season.
We're literally talking about the science of grounding. I mean, there's a
Mhm.
magnetic field to the earth that resonates with yours.
Mhm.
And when we're cut off from that, we're not grounding, allowing that pulse, that grounding, magnetic field to hook up, then, you get out of balance.
Yeah.
And so salt is a great grounder as well.
Mm-hmm. Take off your VR glasses, take off your
Yes, take your
shoes,
shoes off. Yep, right.
go outside and watch the flowers that's blooming. Right?
Yeah, or just go down to the river, man, and put your feet in the sand or in the dirt and listen to the
Yeah.
water, man.
Yeah. And
It's
do your
alive. It's
meditations in
alive.
nature.
Yeah, it's alive. The water
Yeah.
is alive. It speaks. You just have to listen.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
trees speak. They have sound.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to listen. They have a high level of intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
All
know.
right. Super cool. Very good convo.
Yeah, totally. And real quick,
Always visiting.
the Magic Mirror Gate, yeah, great segment you did with Seth Exposa. You can check that out on Rodney's channel, Hardcore Productions. Or
Yeah, I've
Black Earth
got both
Productions.
of those up there with him. The
Yeah.
procession of the Magic Mirror Gate, and then the Secrets of the Higher Force.
Mm,
I was also there. So both of those are
that was a
really
great-
good segments.
totally.
Actually, when we did the Magic Mirror Gate, the first one, we were both kind of pulled back, like wow, because we were talking about some of the stuff that happened in 2020 in that, and one of the things that I said in that is that is that 2020 will be the year that everyone will have to either step into or deny the mirror.
I remember that.
Wow. Yeah. The big reflection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so we were kind of prophetically looking at things. I mean, it's a very powerful segment.
Yeah, I'll check it out again.
It's good because, you're able then to gauge things that way, and man, some of the material that's out there, guys, with some of these teachers in schools, you need to be listening to that. You need to go back in and refresh your basics, your foundations. Don't deny your foundations. Get a refresher on those.
Who do you recommend?
Because when you're having your refresher, when you're looking at those foundations, you're looking at some really good stuff. And so go in and go back and listen to some of these older podcasts, and older teachings that have been going on. I mean, Jordan Maxwell has some amazing stuff.
Totally.
Some of his stuff is just really, really great. And you're looking at some of these older occultists, that have really, really, good foundational material.
Manly P. Hall.
Exactly. So, we just have to go back and revisit some of this stuff from time to time.
Yeah, good idea. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Rodney.
The Cosmic Law of Alchemy.
Sethicus.
One.
Yeah.
And he has there's another one that is linked with that, and I think it's the 13 laws of alchemy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then getting into also a good foundational video is the art of hyperdimensional warfare.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that's Seth Exposa stuff on Black Earth Productions with Z.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I recommend people to look at Mark Passio's basic
go back and look at some of the basic podcasts on natural law. Even the video that he did that kind of does an overview of the natural law itself.
Very good.
Yeah.
I think Logan actually did the music on that. So
yeah, and some of the
documentary, right?
Yeah, it is a documentary, like 45 minutes. Yeah.
And then, or the 7-hour seminar presentation, which actually co-transcribed it in before AI and all that crap with another fellow.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Did it the hard way.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I want to learn this shit though, but
there's a lot of really good stuff out there. You just have to go back and take the time to go back and refresh yourself a little bit.
Yeah, we keep on returning to these things because we see them with fresher eyes, and there's just so much more things that are revealed that speak profoundly to us on when we level up more and more. Right?
Oh,
Yeah, for
absolutely,
sure.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is all about you know being making yourself a better human being, you know,
And an instrument
and
for truth, yo.
being the cause point of your own life.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
nothing like that type of freedom.
Yeah. And that is what will help us to step away out of that nexus point into the 9, into freedom.
Yeah, because we're breaking through. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like, okay, so it's like a while back I had this dream about the Ankh, right?
Mm.
So the Ankh, I was looking for the Ankh, and so I was in a Subway, and like a Subway restaurant, and and there was this room in the basement, and so I went down in this room in the Subway, and there was the Ankh, and it was shining, right? And these motherfuckers came in this van, and they had this big huge bag, and they stole the Ankh in the Subway.
Whoa.
Damn.
That is an interesting dream. There's some symbolism there to work with.
Was it a foot long?
They stole the Ankh in a Subway in the subrealms.
In the sub-realm of the subway, and
Yeah.
the secret tunnel underneath.
Right. And so then
Interesting.
I'm chasing them. I'm looking for it. I'm like, you better bring that Ankh back, man, right? So in the middle of that, I'm in a car and I'm chasing after these guys, right? And then who do I run into? Gordon Ramsay.
Whoa. Cooking up some.
And he's like, hey, man,
Yes.
he was smoking a cigarette at a red light, a green light, or stopped right there on the corner. He goes, hey, man, can I get in? So I said, yeah, man, get in, man. So he gets in, and now I'm chasing it with Gordon Ramsay. See?
He's looking for the true the recipe, the right recipe.
Right, and so I'm
Bistro,
just
man.
like, what the fuck, right? Well, here I am now doing it. I'm chefing.
Right.
Yeah.
My dream is literally like coming full circle here.
That is so cool. How
That's
fun.
awesome.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, your
That's
bistro will be
awesome.
much better than the subway. And maybe you should get an honorary Ankh for your wall.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's where it was taken. You got
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Rodney. Well, I think we should let you get into your own dream world for tonight.
Yeah, we're never good at
Yeah.
goodbyes over here, so yeah.
I know. We could just talk.
Yeah, you're such an
We're the
interesting
long
human
goodbye.
being. Such an honor every time to speak with you. We totally, respect your time that you offer to us, and try to just have other people listen in on this. And we're trying to get these out on other platforms and
Sure.
share it with people online. And hey, anything that is relevant in a topic of conversation, like, oh, hey, here's something for you. But anyways,
Yeah. Thank you,
Yes. Well,
Rodney.
thanks for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. What you offer is very valuable.
yeah, check out his services.
Yeah,
Yeah.
check them out, man.
Your
Yeah.
website again, my friend.
Hardcoreproductions.com.
All right.
Yeah,
We'll
links
have it in the
description,
link.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll soon have another one, bellabistro.com.
Yeah.
Bellasoulbistro.com. That's my new project. So.
Bella
Hell yeah.
Soul Bistro. I like that.
If I was in the States, man, I'd be down to move over there and work with you. But yeah.
Oh man, it's going to be a
Ooh,
cool
he's a good
little
kid.
place. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to like it on Facebook, we have a Facebook page up. So
I have already,
do.
brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll leave a link
Yeah.
for that for sure. Yeah. Good
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'll be showcasing a lot of the dishes and stuff we're going to be doing there. A lot of shorts, doing a lot of
Exciting.
social media with it. Doing a whole totally different concept of how to run a restaurant.
call.
Out of the box, querying energy.
Yes.
Excited to learn more about it as it comes.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, guys.
Yeah,
Much love.
Good night. And
Much
thank you
love.
everyone for listening. Much appreciated. Yeah.
Bon appetit.
Every 2,000 years, the constellations change shift. We are moving into the age of Aquarius. The sign of peace. Fill the book of life with knowledge of masters beyond the ages. The dawning of Aquarius phases. A tribe of Aquarius.
Looked at about 2 minutes of the parade, and I had to look for the sick bucket. I mean to tell you honestly, pathetic, pathetic. The sooner the government do away with this Paddy's Day mumbo jumbo, the better. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, you got me into trouble.
Hey, Mom, on TV.
Hey, where's that weather check?
This is some wicked Paddy, huh?
Hey, have you seen Sully?
Get away from there. Hey, I need a pencil. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing is a total disregard for the things St. Patrick's Day stands for.
You sure look stupid in that green dress, Lise. That's funny. I don't feel stupid. Hey, everybody's wearing green. Oh, no. Happy St. Patrick's Day, loser! Ow! What are you looking at?
What are you looking at? The innocent words of a drunken child. Well, I'll tell you what we're looking at, young man. A town gone mad. A town whose very conscience was washed away in a tide of beer and green vomit.
I'm going down to Moe's for a couple of beers.
I'll come with you.
No!
Thank God you're here. We'd like to come in and drink, please.
We kicked down the back door, but then there was a metal door.
Yeah, all right. Listen up. This is the busiest drinking day of the year. Where are the designated drivers? Beat it. I got no room for cheapskates.
All this drinking, violence, destruction of property. Are these the things we think of when we think of the Irish?